Okay, very warm welcome to this session. Very good morning. Very warm welcome to you all. Shall we start the session? Okay, Rekha, you missed yesterday. My voice is audible? Hi, the expert of worm breeding. Thank you for your visit today, right? Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. So, you will do amazing work, ma'am. So, I used to watch all your videos and many of the worms. I never come across so many worms, and you are a genius in breeding such great worms and recycling many things. Come across in your channel, recycling the things. Yeah, thanks a lot. Okay, this time the number been increased. Thanks. Okay, shall we start this session now? Now, once if I share the screen, I already said I can't view the chats. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks a lot. And I would like to have a thumbs up from your side before exit. Okay. In this session, we are going to discuss the human evolution versus the wild cabbage evolution. And many of us, since from our school, very primary school, we learned the human evolution is from chimpanzees, right? or even many times we used to hear from our grannies that we are originated from the monkeys. Tibets of Life, thank you for your entry. And even I appreciate you ma'am. Not only you're expert in gardening, but also expert in music. And you have a great voice. And that is a God's gift for you. Thanks for your visit. We are originated from the monkeys or chimpanzees, and the science says that is true. And how the origin started, let me see with one image. When I share my screen, I can't view your chat, so I'll reply afterwards. Now within a second you are going to have an image, and that image clearly says how the human evolved. So this is, but here's not the Australopithecus, Neanderthal, Magnan man, different versions of human evolution. And where the first step of human on the earth originated. Our genetic footprints can be traced back to African roots. Our ancestors found at left Africa, and then they spread to different areas from the Africa. The migrants from Africa, they started migrating to West Asia, Central Asia, Eurasia, South Asia, East Asia, and then highlands of Indonesia and Philippines, then to Australia, and started migrating from one place to another place. And then the Homo sapiens again divided as per continents and as per their skin color. And then instead of calling them as Homo sapiens together one, we started calling as per races. I'll share the screen of the race. This is the human classification as per races: Caucasoid, Mongoloid, Africoid, Australoid, and Americans. Like this, the human race has been classified. Now, what are the tools to trace the evolutionary relationship of humans? It is by three methods. Excavating is one of the method. What is that? Excavating. By digging process, we'll get many traces, and by the using of that trace, we can find which is the first, which is the last, where we found the traces, in which particular place, in which particular geographical area. So, excavating is one of the method to trace evolutionary relationship. Excavation means digging. The second method is time dating. What is this time dating? Era, Paleozoic era, Jurassic Park, where dinosaurs were dominating, many things. Dinosaurs, when they were, the humans were not there. Then how the human identified the dinosaurs? By time dating. By using certain isotopes, we can find the age of the bones, the remnants. By time dating, we can trace the evolution. This is second method. And the easiest method is by studying the fossils. By studying the fossils, we can trace the evolution. So, human evolution, it is identified by the races, and human evolution originated from chimpanzees or the monkeys. As by this chart, we come to know the man has different versions like Diapithecus, Ramathecus, Australopithecus, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Neanderthal man, Cro-Magnon man, Peking man, Java man, and finally now we are in the version Homo sapiens. Now, the scientific name for human beings is Homo sapiens. Now, the evidence to collect to prove this versions of human evolution is by three methods. Evolutionary relationship will be studied by first method, excavating, second method, time dating, third method, studying fossils. These are the three methods how the human relationship been traced out. The organs development is also from primitive to the advanced. Now I'll show the image where we have the complex eyes. The birds have the complex eye, but when we go for primitive organisms like flatworms, like planaria, this is the primitive organism flatworm planaria with a simple eyes. It is completely developed eyes. It has eye spot. Change. And later, now this primitive eye developed to an advanced level, and now we have a complex eye. But this eye is rudimentary eye. It is not completely developed. It is primitive. But we have a complex eye, and this is called evolution from primitive to the complex one. Even there is evolutionary trace how the birds came into existence. Yeah, this is the image where these are the images of extinct animals like dinosaurs. When we see very keenly, the dinosaurs have a feathery structures, but no way the dinosaurs can have a flight with a huge body. The dinosaurs were not having any flight because of the huge body, but still they had the ruminant feathers, wings, which were ruminant, were not used, but they had. But later, there was a fossil called Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx was a bird which had a flight, but that was not completely a bird, that was a reptile. I call it as bird, it has a flight. I call it as a reptile because it has the features of reptiles, but still that was the initial stage where the reptile evolved into bird. This indicates the reptiles evolved into birds. That means the evolution stages tells that from the primitive developed into, from the primitive organism, the complex organisms evolved. And all these studies could be possible by tracing evolutionary relationship like three methods I already mentioned, that is excavating, time dating and studying fossils. And what are these fossils? The first thing, after their death, instead of decomposing whole part, some part will be preserved as a traces, and that preserved traces are called as fossils. I'll repeat. The fossils are the preserved traces of living organisms. You can see the picture, the fossil of tree trunk. The first one, the tree not completely degraded, it was preserved as a trace and now it is called as fossil. The second one, the fossil of invertebrate. Third one, the fossil of invertebrate, they are not completely degraded, it was preserved. Fourth one, fossil of fish. And fifth one, the fossil of dinosaur. All these organisms are not degraded, instead they preserve in a trace, and now we can't call it as dead. Many preserved from many years, hence they are called as fossils. And how to know how old are the fossils? Again, in order to study this, we have to dig deeper into many layers by digging process, and the next one is by dating the fossils. Now, for dating the fossil, we use certain isotopes, different isotopes, and the isotopes tells us what is the age of that fossil. So, by digging the layers or by dating the fossils, we can identify the age of the fossil. So, this image shows that some of the invertebrates on the seabed were buried in the sand, and that sand accumulates along with the invertebrates. Under the pressure, they forms as fossils. And the first one, the invertebrates in the seabed, they buried along with the sand. They accumulated together with under great pressure, they form fossils. And the second image, the dinosaurs, their body buried in the mud. And that mud, along with the compression with the rock and the sand, they form the layers. Along with the layers, the dinosaur parts are buried, and when we dig that, we'll get those fossils. In the first one, in the seabed, the invertebrates fossils been accumulated. In the second one, the body of the dinosaurs were compressed in the rock, and that forms the layer. And we mine it, we dig it, then we'll get the traces of the dinosaur, and by fossil dating we can come to know what is the age of the fossil. In the third one, you can see an animal parts. The head part is at the topmost layer and remnants are in the bottom. When we dig the soil or rock, we'll get the head region at the topmost layer and remnants at the bottom. Now, by excavating, we'll get the head first. Now we cannot decide the head as the recent fossil and remnant parts comes under second layer and they are old. Do you agree with this? They belongs to different age, early age and later age. Those are the parts of the same animal, but the found at the topmost layer are at the check by excavation, by the digging process, we'll get the head. Now, as per excavation, we should consider it as recent fossil. And when we dig the second layer, deeper layer, we'll get another remnants, other parts of the body. Now we consider it as older fossil, as per first method, excavation. As per first method, we cannot decide it as which is recent, which is older one, because it is by digging process will decide the fossil. Now, the best method to identify the age of the fossil is by dating the fossil. If we date the fossil by dating process, come to know that in the topmost layer and in the older layer, but somehow top layer, rest of the parts are at the bottom layer. So, like this, by dating the fossil in the third one, we come to know the exact age of the fossils. And the last one, if you look at clearly, by the erosion of water or by the erosion of the soil, the horse fossils been distributed into 3 layers: bottom layer, middle layer, topmost layer. And when we go for excavation, then again we'll get confusion. When we dig the first layer will get some part that should decided as recent, and again when you dig and again if you go on digging, we'll get some parts in the third layer, and that should be considered as old fossils. Is that correct? Again, it leads to confusion, and again, which is the best method to calculate the age of the fossil? It is, yes, dating the fossils. By dating the fossils, we'll come to know its age, and the age will be same for all the three layers. And it is happened because of soil erosion, and the parts aggregated in three different layers: the recent, middle, and the old layer. This is how the fossils are the proof that always the organisms evolved from the primitive. If there were no fossils, we would have not identified the dinosaurs, we would not identify the primitive organisms, and definitely there is no study of evolution. Because of the fossils, the evolution became success. And not only studying the fossils, we can study the evolution by knowing homologous organs and analogous organs. We can trace the evolution. Then what are these homologous organs? You are seeing the image of forelimbs of frog, forelimbs having same origin. You see, observe clearly, same origin. They look same origin. But what is the function? The frog forelimbs is used for swimming. The lizard is for climbing. The bird is for flight. Human forelimbs is for holding the things, exercising, etc., etc. Many works. The function is different. And these organs are called homologous organs. By this, we can conclude that frog is primitive, and from the frog, lizard is evolved, and from the lizard-like organism, the birds has been evolved, and from bird-like organisms, humans has been evolved. So like this, evolution tracing can be done with the help of homologous organs. I'll repeat. Homologous organs having same origin and different functions. Example, the forelimbs of frog, lizard, bird, humans have same origin, same structure, same origin and same structure, but the function is different. Different organisms perform different functions as their adaptation is different, their mode of living style is different, but by this structure we come to know that all organisms are evolved from the primitive organisms. And this is one more Analogous are on the wing of the bird. There is no comparison of the origin. Entirely different origin. Do you find any similarity here? No. Their origin is entirely different. Their structure is different. But they perform same function. Hence they are called analogous organs. What are analogous organs? The organs having different origin and different structure but perform same function are called analogous organs. Now, along with the fossils, homologous organs and analogous organs can also tracing evolutionary evidences organisms. And there are few more examples in order to study the evolution. In this image, you can see the first row. In the first row, the tree structure starts with the red beetles. Almost the trace starts from the red beetles. But in the first row, the crows identify the red beetles on the trees and the plants, easily identified by the red color. They catches the beetles and they sting them. Suddenly, the red beetle converts into green. The red beetle converts into green, and that green beetle will be survived because the green beetle cannot be seen to the crows. So they escape from the crows, they get survived. So in the next one, the red beetles go on decreasing, the green beetles go on increasing. And finally, the we find only the green beetles. And what is this? This is called natural selection. This is called natural selection. The nature decides the organisms which should be survive and which should be deleted. The mutation or the DNA change. What is mutation? Sudden change of genetic material. That is DNA change. That DNA change, once the red beetle converted into green, that green adopted very nice in the environment. And that green helps in surviving. That helps in surviving. So this is called natural selection. And the second one, again there was mutation, that is DNA change. Instead of green beetle, it gave rise to blue beetles. Again the crow comes, catches red and blue, picks. both the beetles started reducing. In a bushy area, beetles are being escaped from the crows. They are so bushy they cannot easily visualize to. Suddenly, the elephant came and it has put his foot on this beetles, where the red beetles completely crushed under the elephant foot, but the blue beetles got escaped. You can see the elephant foot, it was completely kept on the red beetles but not on the blue. The blue got escaped and the blue starts growing faster and faster and faster. Only blue came into existence. And what is this method called? And this is called genetic drift. Genetic drift. The first one is natural selection. Nature decided which is to survive and which is to die. Nature decided. And the second one is genetic drift. What is genetic drift? The random change in the gene of adaptation, it started increasing the number. If they caught to the crows, definitely they'll be eaten by the crows. It is not good adaptation. But still, luckily, accidentally, they have been escaped and they are increasing its number. Means increase in the gene frequency, increase in the allele frequency. And without any adaptations, these are known as genetic drift. And the third one, the red beetles, because of the scarcity of the food, that is, suddenly because of the drought, the plants are so weak. The beetles got very less food. Because of shortage of the food, starvation, the beetle size reduced. And again that was continued. Because of the less food, the beetle size is reduced. All of a sudden, very good showers, rainfall, the plants grown fantastically with healthy foliage, so the beetles got the food. When the beetles got the food again, they grown very healthy with huge size. Do you think that is there any relationship with the genes like the first one and second one? In the first one, because of DNA change, the green came into existence. Second, when again DNA change, the blue came into existence. In the first one, natural selection. In the second, genetic drift. In the first two, DNA has been changed. Do you think that in the third one also DNA changes occurred? No, definitely no. There is no change in DNA. It is only the environmental factors. Only the environmental factors decided the change of the size of the beetle. If there is starvation, the beetle size reduced. It is only clearly about the environmental factors, the food, starvation decided. What are these traits called? These traits are called as acquired traits. The changes happens due to the environment and this is acquired. First two, The green came into existence because of DNA change. The blue came into existence because of DNA change. These are called inherited means. But in the third one, it is not from the genes, it is by the food, it is by the nature, it is by the environment. Suddenly they acquire, it will be vanished. And these are called acquired traits. So, the characteristics are two types, the acquired traits and inherited traits. The characters which are inherited from the genes are called inherited traits, which are acquired from the nature or from the environment, and they are called acquired traits. Now, there is one more concept. In all these cases, other than third one, the green beetle, the blue beetle, from the green. What is this? Formation of new distinct species in the course of evolution. Definitely the blue one is a formation of new species. The green one is also the formation of new species, and this process is known as speciation. What is speciation? Formation of and what are the factors for speciation? What are the factors? The first one, the first example, gene flow. There is change in the gene where green came into existence, right? Gene flow is the one reason. Second one, genetic drift. The first one, even there is another term called natural selection, DNA alteration. All these are the causes for speciation. I'll repeat. The formation of new species or distinct species, natural selection, genetic drift, DNA change. All these are the causes of speciation. So, now we studied how the human and how the primitive organism, the eye of human being is so advanced, and also eyes are advanced. That means the evolutionary stages from primitive to the complex one. And the features is found in reptile. The bird features are found in reptile, and that is Archaeopteryx. It was a reptile but very close to the bird. This example says that the birds came into existence by the reptiles. And there is one more concept, dinosaurs. The dinosaurs had wings, but they never used for flight because of their huge size. Soon after the reptiles, the birds came into existence with the feathers, with the flight, with more adaptations. By streamed body structure, with the pneumatic bones, the birds had a good flight. And earths. And we studied what are fossils and how old the fossils are and how to calculate that, which are the different modes. And even we discussed on stages of human evolution, races of human evolution, and where we found the human first time in African roots, and later from Africa the migrants started moving to West Asia and Central Asia, Eurasia, South Asia, East Asia, Philippines and Australia. Like that the people started migrating and different races came into position based on their continents, and human evolution is traced by using the tools like excavating, time dating and studying fossils. And Charles Darwin is considered to be the father of evolution. And again the evolution divided into inorganic evolution, organic evolution. J.B.S. Haldane was deeply studied in inorganic evolution. Stanley L. Miller and Harold, these people studied deeper in organic evolution, but still Charles Darwin is a person who is considered as the father of evolution. So in this image you can see the ladder and the tree structure. The ladder, the primitive plants came into existence and later certain and then and finally man, complex man came in. Same way here in the tree structure, primitive plants came into existence and later certain insects and then amphibians and then reptiles and again a man came into existence. Do you think that the first example, as the ladder goes on increasing, in the same way the evolution is progressive? Is the evolution is progressive? Progressive in the sense only growing up direction. Will you accept with this? Yeah. Evolution definitely not equated with the progress, because when the new organism exists, it doesn't indicate that the older one has been removed. If removed, they are surviving along with the upgraded one. The old is surviving. All are equally surviving in the nature. It is not true that the advanced one, primitive one. No. Sometimes a very good compared to the advanced one. For his prepared by the old people are so amazing, still they are in the nature without any rusting. But people, advanced people, alloys, metal alloys, they are undergoing rusting immediately. What is this? The knowledge of advanced people is more compared to the older one? No. The older people knowledge is 100% better than the modern people. Their alloy is not at all rusting, but present people alloys are rusting. This indicates the knowledge of the previous people are always better, proved better than modern people. So, by this example, we can say that evolution should not be equated with the progress. As the older one is also surviving, the latest one is also surviving, so it is not considered to be progressive. So, till now we studied human races, human evolution, and the evolution is not equated with the progress. Charles Darwin, who is evolution, like how we considered Mendel as the father of genetics, Charles Darwin is considered to be father of evolution. And speciation is the origin of new species, and for that the reasons are natural selection, gene flow, genetic drift, and DNA changes. These are the reasons for speciation. Homologous organs are the organs having same origin, structure but different function. Analogous organs are the organs having different origin but same function. Different origin but same function are called as analogous organs. These are the examples for the fossils. This is example for how to calculate the age of the fossils. The primitive eye found in planaria, and now the complex eye is found in birds and mammals. These are the of how we can say the birds are evolved from the reptiles. There is one more example, Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx is a reptile, was a reptile. Birds came into existence from the Archaeopteryx. Okay, this is the last concept. Till now we studied the evolution with reference to the animals, primitive animals, and we studied that human being is the advanced one and he came from the primitive organism, even from the plants. The plants, primitive plants, and late animals came into existence. And now in this image we can see that the wild cabbage in the center, that was a wild cabbage which was considered to be primitive, and by that again DNA changes takes place, and because of DNA changes new breeds like kohlrabi, cauliflower, broccoli, leaf cabbage, red cabbage, and kale. These are the new origins from the wild cabbage. This is evolution of the cabbage, different forms of the cabbage. The ancestral one is wild cabbage, and some of the farmers wanted to select some other varieties of the cabbage, and they started changing the DNA, and again different forms came into existence. That is broccoli, or the sterile flowers like cauliflowers, the swollen parts like kohlrabi, and large leafy veggie called kale. All these are the evolved vegetables from the wild by the alteration of DNA. Do you think that this evolution is progressive? No. We find to be one. That the recent veggies are more nutritious than wild cabbage? Definitely, we cannot prove that. The wild cabbage are considered to be more nutritious than the recent one. So, the evolution cannot be equated with the progression. This about the concepts under evolution. In this session, okay, WhatsApp official channel, thanks for your visit. Yummy Cotton Tea participant side, I say hello. Okay, till now in this session, we discussed about human evolution, the wild cabbage evolution. Along with that, evolution of the stages of the evolution, and fossils and fossil age identifying, and what is speciation and what are the factors for speciation, and many more things we discussed in this session. So anything to be clarified right now? I'm waiting for your reply. Yes, I'm waiting for your are too much complicated. And I hope it is little difficult to understand the concepts. Okay, Priyanka, you can't hear my voice? Okay. Okay, Priyanka, who else is not hearing my voice? Okay, Priyanka, from where you didn't hear my voice? Total session or somewhere in the middle? What about others? Okay, waiting for your reply. You're still where? This. Okay, what about Okay, now you are replying there is problem with my voice. Okay, I repeat the session where you had the problem in the next coming up live sessions. Okay, maybe network problem because we started late. Because of that net problem. From there, I'll repeat the session. Okay, everyone is having same problem. So my voice is not audible. Okay, everyone are having the problem with my audio. Okay, let me stop this session. Okay, where you had the problem, from there I'll start the session once again. Okay, many of you had the problem with the audio, and where I stay, definitely I have some network problem. Because of that, my audio is not clear to you. Okay, many of you are having my audio problem. as I started very late. Definitely, that was the problem. Okay, I'll stop this session now. I'll repeat the concept from speciation in the next session. Thanks for your visit. I hope the number will increase in the next live session. Thank you.